Why are you concerned about the Ravens right now?
Well, I sat on in this very seat 2 weeks ago, and I told you I was concerned with the lack of weapons around Lamar Jackson. I love that they went out and got Yannick. That's great, but that's adding a strength to a strength. You know, we need to be able to have Lamar Jackson be able to counterpunch, because when we get to the playoffs and you go against the good teams, they've been able to take that dynamic running game away and put the ball squarely in the hands of Lamar Jackson, who hasn't been able to really come up big in those situations. You think about, the Chargers, you think about the Titans, and being disappointed. It's one thing to win during the regular season, but the clock is ticking, Greeny, on being able to go get these luxury pieces like Yannick, go out and get these luxury pieces like Marcus Peters, because his contract is the elephant in the room. And when he gets that contract, you're going to lose those type of pieces. You have to go and find and get him a weapon on the outside of the numbers. Only 2 touchdowns to a receiver this year. That's disrespectful to me.
Hence the foreshadowing that I gave you about Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Not Julio aside.
No.
Are we hearing the Ravens are out there looking for a receiver? Do we think they may add a weapon?
Signing Dez Bryant was, a very fair sign here that they know
I can't say it with a straight face. Dez Bryant played like 10 years ago.
He did, but he showed him enough, right? So he worked out with him in the summer. He didn't have a great workout, but he came back again, and apparently he's in better shape and he's playing better. So, look, they're taking a risk with, here, and with it's actually very little risk on taking a chance on Dez here. But it is very clear that Lamar Jackson is not the same quarterback that we saw last season. They're running 10 yards less per carry here that on average. Yeah. And that's pretty much telling the story. And then you just look at the sacks here, the pressure he's getting. Mm-hmm. Last year, he had 25 sacks the entire season. He's already got 16 through 5.
Right.
So he's feeling that pressure because they know that he's looking to run first. They're going to take him down.
It's old. They've seen it on film.
They figured it out.
It's a game plan. They understand what it means now.
So all the concerns for the Ravens, and I figure RC is going to be in here doing nothing but talking smack. But Ryan, you're telling me this morning you have a concern that I think most people don't see coming.
Yeah, we talked about the ifs coming into this year, and it was if Ben Roethlisberger was healthy. Well, my if for this game is if Ben Roethlisberger plays well, if Ben Roethlisberger protects the ball, if Ben Roethlisberger is the Big Ben that led this team to 2 Super Bowl championships. And we saw the tale of 2 Bens last week against the Tennessee Titans. And I told you guys before, there are these certain players that you just know you have to live with some things. They're going to make some great plays, like the shovel pass out in the flat to Eric Ebron, and then they're going to throw 3 interceptions in the second half, and you feel like you got to go out and play. Sometimes you don't even get a good drink of Gatorade. Well, if he turns the ball over against Marlon Humphrey, against Calais Campbell, against Marcus Peters, some of these very ball-aware football players that the Baltimore Ravens have on their team, they're going to lose this game. And so for me, it's about Ben Roethlisberger not only making plays to Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, using James Conner out of the backfield, but it's about him protecting the football. I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers have the better defense. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers have the better overall team. But it's about, hush, it's my turn. You said a whole lot of weed earlier. I'm talking about these 2 people that played. I'll get to you later.
On your
because
face.
I told you what Rob Spillane was. Hey, listen, I told you what Rob Spillane was going to do last week. I can't sun you 2 weeks in a row. We're trying to be friendly here. Back to what I was saying, though. If Ben Roethlisberger doesn't play well, if Ben Roethlisberger turns the ball over in this game, the Baltimore Ravens win. And I feel like that's their path to victory. So this is all about Big Ben not being if he's healthy, but being the Big Ben that helps the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game.
There was just a little glimpse of what we were looking for, and we will come back to that. But Rob Ninkovich, let me come to you, because the scheduling of this game is fascinating. The Ravens are coming off a bye. The Steelers were supposed to be. But because of the rescheduling involved with Tennessee, they're coming off a tough game, that physical matchup we were just talking about, where the Titans made a big comeback in the second half. How big an advantage is that in your mind for Baltimore, Rob Ninkovich?
Oh, I don't think it's that big of an advantage, obviously. Look, you can think back to the playoffs when the Ravens were the #1 seed. They had a bye week. They went out and they lost in the playoffs. So sometimes that bye week can almost be a time for you to reflect on the things that you're not doing well and questioning the things that you're doing and questioning your skill sets. So the Ravens, to me, I think they're going to go and play the Steelers, who have just come off a huge win against Tennessee. They're kind of rolling right now. They don't want to have a bye week. They want to just keep rolling into the season here. I can think back to the playoffs, and when we were, going into the playoffs, we had a bye week. We were just telling each other in the locker room with the Patriots, like, look, let's just go play. We're ready to go. We're healthy. Let's go play football. So sometimes that bye week could actually make you be worse and not help you be a better football team when you have too much time on your hands. I just think that it could potentially hurt them. So I think the Steelers coming out after this last week victory against Tennessee are going to just be steamrolling right now. They're going to be ready to go. I'm going with the Steelers on this matchup because of that defense.
RC, how about the bye week?
Listen, it's not about what happens before you play the Baltimore Ravens.
Thank you.
It's about what happens after. Whenever I would look at the schedule, I didn't care if it was the Cleveland Browns the week before, or I didn't care if it was the Cincinnati Bengals the week before the Baltimore Ravens. I wanted either a bye after we played the Baltimore Ravens, or I wanted the bye that the Pittsburgh Steelers will get in playing the Dallas Cowboys after the Baltimore Ravens. Because when you are neck deep in ice and you are neck deep in making sure that your treatment plan is on schedule so you can actually get on the field the next week after the Baltimore Ravens game, that's what's important.
I notice you nodding. You're feeling the same way.
Well, with all fairness to Rob, he wouldn't understand what this type of rivalry is all about. This is the most physical rivalry in all of football. I mean, you talk about the history of this game. We call it a double chin strap game.
Come on, I know you played for the Bart. Hey.
But it's not physical. Listen. Jets Patriots cannot compare. This is something totally different. This is a man's game. This is Ward Gotti. This is like in the trenches. Ain't no fancy stuff going on. Ain't no trickeration. It's like I'm going here and I'm going through you. Can you stop it? Yeah, it's nothing to do. Listen, when I went to the AFC East and we played the Patriots, it was more about minds. It was more about strategy. This is a straight up alley fight right here. It has nothing to do about this. This is about a double chin strap. Somebody gonna get carried off. I'm sorry to say that. Somebody, listen, I can go through the rivalry, and I know later we're gonna talk about it, whether it's Ben Roethlisberger and his crooked nose and him having to pack his nose so he can finish the game, or whether it's Debo knocking Ed Reed off on a punt return, whether it's Willis McGahee and Ryan Clark going night-night. This is a totally different thing. You wouldn't know anything about this type of stuff. This is not your business.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.